Hey community, how are you? Jenenne Macklin, wealth catalyst and coach. I wanted to hop on here right quick. I'm just taking a break. I had to get me some tea. I've been working on an incredible program that I'm going to be doing and a webinar that I'll be talking about this coming Thursday. And I was just so excited about it. So I had to take a break. I got me some tea. So now I'm starting to be like, but I wanted to hop on right quick because I had written the note that you saw down there. I wrote it, to myself. Hi, Constance Johnson. How are you? And the note said, are you guilty of this? And I was like, okay, so what is it that we, particularly women, I think we're really caught up in this conversation more than men. And it's pushed. It's not, we didn't get it, it's earnest. We got it in earnest because we're marketed to about it. We deal with it consciously and unconsciously. And so I wanted to ask you, as I'm writing out the program and the pieces for the webinar, are you guilty of this? And I was trying to look at I always start with the end in mind. You know, if you work with me or coach with me, I'm going to say, okay, where do you want to go? And then take the steps backwards to see how we have to walk you there. I took that from Stephen Covey. And so when I looked at the end, I thought, okay, sometimes for me, if I use myself as the example, I felt unseen. I felt disappointed in some instances. Some other times I would feel good. Sometimes I'd feel depleted, and I keep saying, okay, I'm the one that's doing this and I'm the one that's doing that. When would somebody do that for me? And so I realized I was doing this out of something I had almost unconsciously learned. There's so much we learn unconsciously. It's not like a conversation I had with my mom or my cousins or anything. It's just what I saw women do. And oftentimes we do a lot that women do, but we don't really examine it. We really don't ask ourselves, is it what's going to move us to our next level in life and business? Is it going to bring us more joy and more fulfillment? So anyway, I'm not wanting to go too long. But what I came up with was just simply asking you, are you guilty of this? And this is investing in everyone else but yourself. I mean, when I thought about it for just a brief second, it just went through my mind real quick. Okay, you're a mom, you're invested in your kids, you're married, you're invested to your husband or your wife, you're a child, so you're invested in your parents, you have siblings, you're invested in them, you have cousins that show up here and there, you have aunts and uncles, you may have grandparents you're invested in, you have good girlfriends you're invested in, then you have the gym you may be going to, then you have the church and the church community. That's like 10 things. And you know what? Nowhere in there did I say, you are me. And when I hear invest, for me, it's different. Because when I hear invest, I think of stocks. I have to wait on this one because this is a powerful one. I think of stocks and I think of investing in your future. I think of investing in our foundations, our financial foundation, and strengthening that. When I think of investing in everyone else, I'm like, that's our time, that's our energy, that's our money, that's our thoughts, that's our effort. And here's 10 ways that we're giving it. And then we wonder why we're tired, or we wonder why we're frustrated, or we wonder why we're depleted, or we're wondering why we don't reach our goals. You know, if I asked you, have you accomplished your financial milestones? Have you reached them? Are you working on them? And what's getting in the way? Have you cultivated your financial confidence where you can sit down and talk about money? You can sit with a financial advisor and talk about money. Are you operating from the tools that you need on a regular basis to keep you in check so you reach your goals? Because ultimately, I want you to build your financial foundation so then once that's set, then we move to wealth. But when I really ask that question, are you guilty of this? Are you guilty of investing in everyone else but yourself? That's 10 areas. What if you said to them for a period of time, maybe like 3 months or so, I'm doing everything, I'm pulling everything back. I'm pulling everything back. I'm pulling everything back. Now, for some of you, you'll be like, oh, no, I can't do that. And I know what that must feel like. And I'm sure the people on the other side who we say it to, they're like, are you serious? You're pulling everything back? You're not going to go to the store for me? You're not going to lend me money when I ask for it? You're not going to pay my bills when I need it? No, I'm not going to do any of that. 2 months, 3 months. And then let's see what the results are going to be when you invest in you. Yes, we have to get through, that thing that comes up, that big word that starts with an S. I'll talk to you about that on the call on Thursday, but I'll say it now, selfish. Yes, we have to get past that. But in the meantime, when do you begin to invest in you? When is it okay for you, me, us, for us to invest in us? Invest in the classes and the studying and the understanding that we need to move forward, to be fulfilled, for our goals and dreams. How often do we continue to put those on the back burner? And sometimes we don't even put it on the back burner intentionally. Shoot, by the time we get to taking care of those 10 things that I just named off, you know what, we're tired. Shoot, so when it comes to our goals, you know, getting to the gym, exercising, doing your meditation, focusing on your goals, looking at your affirmations. If you have a vision board, then doing your vision. I mean, all of those things take time. So that requires we invest in us. But if we're the last on our list, I already had 10 things on the list. That doesn't include us. So I want you to ask yourself, are you guilty of this? Investing in everyone else but yourself. And then deep down inside, underneath, how does it feel? And how come you continue to do it? What's the benefit for you? What's the payoff for you? I know at one point when I was doing it, it was like, okay, well, I was helping out with some family things and on the last generation, I guess, before my son's generation. So, you know, you help out. But then after a while, it's like, if you keep helping out, how many people will be able to stand on their own? They'll constantly want you to keep helping them out. And why is that okay for all that energy you put out there to those 10 people? How come that energy can't come back to you? For you to build your financial foundation, for you to be able to step into wealth. How come we get so much validation from what we do for mothers? Thank you for the word. Constance gave me the word. Can anybody else support her? I'll support her. That was the word. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And on those late nights when you're not paying attention, this is what will happen. You'll be laying in bed and all of a sudden you got these tears coming down your eyes. And you're like, oh my God, what's wrong? Because you realize I'm tired. And I'm still not reaching my goals. So are you guilty of this? And if the answer is yes, then join me this Thursday. I'm doing a powerful webinar if we can start looking at some of the habits, the situations, circumstances we find ourselves in with money and what to do about it, so that we can invest in ourselves and feel good about that and feel supportive of those other people who are learning to invest in themselves. So I'm going to put the link below because it's a large link. I guess we're using a new platform product this time, but I'll put it below, but I do have it for you. But anyone else who comes on after this, put hashtag replay. Now you've heard me say it, you've heard me describe it, and Constance said it beautifully. We feel guilty. We're guilty of doing this, of investing in everyone else. It's exhausting. And I asked you, are you guilty of this? And many of you will say yes. What I want you to explore now, and we'll talk about that on Thursday, is how come we do it? Or I could probably say, how come you do it? I used to do it, but not as much as I used to. But I'll be in it with you. How come we do it? How come we do it? And we keep doing it over and over. We're tired. We're frustrated. We're exhausted. We're like, oh, God. And we say, and our heart says, I don't want to. And we make ourselves do it. How come? Hi, Joshua. How are you? I was just hopping on for a moment. I'm over here building my webinar and working on some stuff. I thought I'd hop on here at different times to see which part and who of the community pops in. So the webinar is Thursday, 4 Pacific time. And it's Jenenne Macklin easywebinar.live/event-registration.3. Hey, love. How are you? Where are you, Joshua? Constance said it. See, we have something to talk about. It's expected of us, and we don't want to disappoint people. So there we have it. But I'm not going to leave Constance out here by herself. Anybody else have any other thoughts about it? It's expected of us, and we don't want to disappoint. How come we're so afraid of disappointing people? They disappoint us. And I'm not saying it like tit for tat. I'm just saying we get disappointed in life. Nobody's sitting back there saying, okay, we don't make sure we don't disappoint Constance when we have to, change her, or don't give her a raise. This is hypothetical, or, this doesn't happen. No, they're handling their business. So what is it about us that we're still putting others ahead of us, doing what they want us to do, concerned that they will be disappointed? And you know what? When it comes to your money, it's got to be you. You've got to be willing to sit at the helm and be the CEO of your finances. You have to be willing to check off your financial milestones. You have to be willing to say, I'm going to cultivate my financial confidence. And you also have to be willing to say, I'm going to build my financial foundation. And I can't build this if I'm constantly giving it away to everybody. Yes, yes, as Lisa would say. Anyway, I just hopped on for a moment, something for you to think about. Remember, hashtag replay if you come on afterwards. Join me this Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm talking about the 5 myths that are sabotaging your success with money. I want all of you to cultivate your financial confidence, to know what you know and be willing to learn whatever else you need to learn. We must be, particularly for women, we must have that. You've got to cultivate it. Taking care of others and pleasing others cannot surpass you positioning yourself to feel financial security. You can feel financial security. That's up to you. I want you to build your financial foundation, but I want you to have your financial confidence. And then what's my other? Oh, and you have financial milestones. And I walk women through those milestones. You already registered, Constance? Wonderful. I walk women through those milestones while at the same time teaching them the practices and principles. But that's another step. For now, on Wednesday, I'm just going to talk to you about some of the myths that are getting in the way of your success. And I'm glad that part of this question right here, we'll see where this fits into the conversation. Are you guilty of this, which is investing in everyone else, but not yourself? And anyone else comes on after, feel free. Don't leave Constance hanging. She said it was exhausting. I would say it's exhausting. It's frustrating. It's dual. When you're doing it, you may feel good. But sometimes when you're shopping and you're looking and you're tired, you're like, God, why did I say that? You know that. So it's like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Or why is a hard word? So let's say, how come? How come we keep doing this to ourselves? What happens if we disappoint them? We don't think they'll be okay. We think that what? They'll stop loving us. They won't care about us. So I love helping women walk that out, because when we can walk it out, you can see it's what we're saying to ourselves that keeps us doing the things that we do that rob us of having the financial security we long for. It's like a tug of war. These in parts of us that pull over here and another part pulls over here. But what we want is this. So one of these has to give. But we're the CEO of our financial life, our financial business and affairs. So we're the one that has to make that decision. And we struggle to make those decisions, to be financially solvent, to reach our milestones, to have our financial foundation so we can move toward wealth. We can live with financial security. And I'm not saying you have billions. You don't have to have billions and billions of dollars to be secure. That's not what you have to have. You have to have some knowledge about what you're doing. And you have to have your goals and have a roadmap to get to your goals. And sometimes you have to have someone to hold you accountable to keep taking the action for your goals. Because earlier the call, I'll be going soon, so you're going to have to listen to it. I named off 10 areas and ways that we give to others. Now, if you can add more to that, then add it below. And I'm sure I'll hop on tomorrow or the next day and we'll see. But nowhere in that 10 were we given to ourselves. But we want financial freedom. We want to be competent. I want you to be able to sit there. When you work with me, you're going to sit down with a financial advisor and ask questions and get information and not feel ashamed or embarrassed or think you can't do it or I'm this, I'm that. Psh. This is you being the CEO at your financial business. You're the head of that. People want your money. They need to give you some reason for it. Besides, I just want it. You worked hard for it. Did I miss something? Is money falling out? Things aren't falling out the sky, but in your household, is money falling out the sky? And you just have money to give to these people endlessly to the point that they depend on it or they look forward to it or expect it? We need to find a way to shut some of this down, or at least maybe for a couple of months or so you can see that you can do it. Sometimes you have to take things like 2 or 3 months intervals and 2 or 3 months do this. And then once you do it, you feel okay, you realize they're still going to love you. They were just waiting for you to step up in the first place. And then when you do, they're like, okay, we knew she'd get to this point. Like, well, we got as much as we could out of her as we could. You know, they milk us saying we're their children or we're their son, you're my daughter, you're my favorite. They're just milking us. Don't fall for that. Anyway, I just want you to look at, are you investing in everyone else but yourself? And the 10 fingers that you see at this stage, because I've probably been on here at least 8 or 9 minutes, is all the different things I've identified, the people, places where I just identify where we're putting all our money is going. You know, if it's the kids, if it's the parents, if it's the school, if it's the church, all of our efforts are going out in all these different ways. And we've at least identified that it's exhausting. And I'm telling you, it's not only exhausting, but it's robbing you of achieving your financial milestones. It's keeping you feeling financially insecure. It keeps you not meeting your goals if you even have goals. And that's not okay. That's not okay for me. And then it impacts your sense of confidence. You start to feel like you're not confident with money, but it's just some hard decisions that you might have to make. But there's some other elements that I want you to know and learn about. And I'm going to talk to you about that on Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So just think about this. Keep this in mind. Hi, Miss Rogers. I won't try to say your name because outside of Lithia, I don't want to mess it up. So good to see you. What state are you from? Everybody take good care. I'm going to head back in here and get some more work done. I'm trying to keep these 5 to 7 minutes. I know I'm going over, but it's just things I want you to start thinking about. I can't believe that the pandemic didn't make you begin to look at your financial life right now, where you have cultivated the confidence and where you still have some missing pieces. And how come that isn't a priority for you going forward to say, I got to do better, or I need to do this differently, or this is the result I want. How do I get there? So let's talk about, I'll see you on Thursday. Get registered. And it's for women, but men, I'd love to have you there. Sorry about this. I know nobody coughs anymore, huh? Don't worry. I'm negative. I took all the tests and everything. Men do money different than we do. So this shows up differently for them. And because we step into so many different roles almost unconsciously and we don't question them, we can find ourselves in different patterns that leave us less than, feeling less than, having less money, not achieving the goals that we want because we have this tendency. And I want us to become more conscious and aware of this tendency. So it'll be the third time I've said it. I'm out. I'm gone. Have a good evening and take good care. I look forward to see you on the call Thursday. And I'll put the link below as well. Yes, JenenneMacklin.easywebinar.live/event-registration-3. Have a good evening.